you've written 4 books about him. You've really, really studied the man. How would you describe his personality? What is his character? I mean, you've referred to him as a Shakespearean character. What is his character?
I mean, this is not a unique insight at all, but it's everything about him. He wants to be the center of attention at all times. And you asked a question about, you sounded like I had been in an abusive relationship. I'm not sure about that, but I will say that his relationships with people around him often feel like they are abusive relationships.
Well, and to clarify, what I mean is you don't ever know where you are with him.
Right.
You've no idea if he's going to be nice Trump or nasty Trump. He berates people publicly. He humiliates people publicly. He's done that to you when you've been in the press line. But then he'll call you and give you something. Yeah. And so that feels like a complicated relationship to navigate from your position.
But it's especially interesting with people that are come in and out of his inner circle.
Mm-hmm. Like his lawyers.
Like he brings people in. Donald Trump can make you feel like you are also the center of the universe because he wants,
interesting.
If you're around him, it's like you must be a really big frickin' deal, And so a lot of these people who come in, who would, by the way, never be within miles of a White House with another president, derive so much of their worth from the praise they receive from Donald Trump. And then he can turn that off in a second and make you feel like, and then take away what is now core to your sense of self-worth. I mean, Michael Cohen is like the most glaring example of this. I mean, Michael Cohen, guy that was, dealing with taxi cab medallions and, graduated from a, 5th-tier law school, and suddenly he is there in office next to Trump Tower, and he's the enforcer for the man. And Michael Cohen was he was. I recounted in one of my earlier books one of these early interviews I had with Trump, which was done through Michael Cohen, set it up, and Michael Cohen told my producer, my young producer that was doing it, if Karl asks anything I don't like, I'm going to knock your camera over. You better make sure this thing goes all right. I mean, and of course, Michael Cohen's the guy that says, I would take a bullet for Donald Trump. I would do anything for Donald Trump. And then, Michael Cohen finds himself out on the ledge, and he's kind of not defended by Trump, and he takes that turn. And now, it's...
Well, and then he goes to jail for Trump, right? Yeah. He goes to jail for that misplaced loyalty. Yeah. So... what is that about, though, this ability to turn on even his closest people? Is it some kind of chemical imbalance? Is it like a bipolar thing? Can you give us more of a sense of what it feels like to be in the orbit of it? And also what people used to say about Bill Clinton, which is that when you're with him, you can feel like the most important person in the world.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Look, Rick Riley in that terrific book, Commander-in-Chief, about Trump's golf game, recounts.
Also a great title.
I mean, and Riley recounts covering a golf tournament that was at a Trump property, and he's there, and he's there as a reporter for Sports Illustrated, and Trump keeps introducing him to people as the publisher of Sports Illustrated, and Riley is quietly saying, "No, I'm a reporter, I'm not the publisher," and he keeps doing it. And finally, Rick Riley writes that he pulls Trump aside and says, "Why do you keep saying that? You know I'm not the publisher. I've told you I'm not the publisher. Why do you keep saying it?" And Trump's answer is, "It sounds better. It sounds better." And so Rick Riley didn't like that. He's a guy that, he has a respect for the basic truth. But, for people around Trump, he's elevating them and making them sound like they're the best, they're the smartest. But in a minute, he can turn, and he does turn. He'll turn back. But he does turn, and I think what it does is it keeps people on edge, and it makes it so that that loyalty that they must express to Trump is always there, and they're on edge about it. I got to keep him happy. I got to keep him happy. I got to serve him right.
And doesn't it also mean that he's always in control of them?
Yeah, he's always in control of them. He's always the one in control, 100%.
So if you're a lawyer for him, I mean, I heard this from people who covered the Stormy Daniels trial, that he would regularly just yell at his lawyers and tell them that they were stupid, and they would say things, and then he would give his own press conference and completely undercut them.
Yeah.
Why do people stay working for him?
Well, look, I think that they're drawn to the magnetism, and for some of them, they're in positions that they would never have with anybody else. And what are they going to do? Like leave Trump and then go work for Ron DeSantis or something? I mean, where are they going to be? They probably aren't going to get hired by Ron DeSantis. And even if they are, they're not going to be, given this elevated
so these are
position.
Republican operatives, you mean?
Yeah, and the people, and look, and some people, look, there are people around Trump who have been around Trump for a long time, who have been through all those ups and downs, who are genuinely infatuated with him and loyal to him, and think he is a great man. I mean, look, he is the most consequential president of our time. Some people might look at that. Yeah, he's the most consequential. He's doing things that will be dealing with the negative consequences forever. And those who think he's doing great things. I mean, like Dan Scavino is a guy that has been with Trump since he was working as a caddy for him. Now he is the deputy chief of staff. He's the head of presidential personnel. But he's been so much more than both of those things. He's always been by Trump's side. And, Scavino is a total loyalist. And I think he genuinely has admiration and appreciation for the man. And, his whole identity is bound up in Trump. And Trump, at this point, a guy like Scavino's been around so long, he's not, he loves having Dan Scavino around.
And how does Susie Wiles figure in all this? I mean, the chief of staff, first female chief of staff, and I think the first time they met, she was still working for Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. I mean, she's got nerves of steel, and she is, she's a loyalist. She's also a pragmatist within that world, and. I think that the secret to her success, and there's a debate, I think that she could well be there for all 4 years. I mean, I think that she's got no designs on leaving as far as I can tell. And I think that Trump very much relies on her. I think the secret to her success is that she never actually tries to change Trump. She just, she's not there to debating him on this policy or that policy, or you got to do this and that. She's like, Trump's going to do what he's going to do, and I'm going to make sure that I keep kind of the trains running on time, in the White House, and keep out the, try to keep the infighting to a minimum, and I will kind of not tolerate any of that stuff that was so dominant in the first Trump administration. So she's not like a huge influence on what the guy actually does, but very effective in that. That's the hard that. I mean, press secretary may be the hardest, but chief of staff to Donald Trump is a very hard job, and she's somehow managed to pull it off.
He's 79.
Yeah.
You've covered 4 presidents. How does his health and his energy seem to you? I mean, we've seen him covering up bruises on his hands with makeup.
I mean, look, there's all kinds of speculation about that, and much was made of the fact that he was closing his eyes in a recent, Oval Office
Well, he appeared
meeting.
to be asleep.
Yeah, I mean, all that. So, but I don't know. I think it's a very dangerous thing to get involved in speculating about health. People have speculated about his health since he was a candidate in 2016, 2015, about his mental state and all of that. I don't know. I mean, the guy actually seems to have a hell of a lot of energy. Even, I mean, like I said, he did appear to be dozing off at an event. I mean, but
well, to be fair, he'd just come back from an Asian tour.
Yeah, and he doesn't sleep. I don't know how he does it. I don't really understand it. Bill Clinton was like this. Bill Clinton slept 4 hours a night.
Margaret Thatcher didn't need more than 5 hours sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how, it's like, it must be like a gene or something that you're going to, I can do that for a couple of days, but I mean, come on, after a while. And he's up, he's taking calls late at night. I would find that the best time to reach him, if I wanted to call him during the campaign, was either late at night, far later than you would ever call most other people, and very early in the morning. I mean, I would talk to him sometime before 7, and he's already up. He's already watching television. He's already got his, DVR going. He's he's constant energy, constant activity, and he's almost acting like a guy that feels like he's running out of time. So who knows? I mean, look, he's 79 years old. He doesn't really exercise. His diet isn't exactly the model diet. At some point, all the speculation about his health will be true. I just won't be the one speculating on it.
Okay, you've covered 4 presidents, as we've said. What do you think of the cabinet that he has assembled around himself compared to previous presidents that you have known? Because certainly he's appointed people who have, like Dan Scavino, who you just mentioned, unusual backgrounds to run enormous departments with huge budgets and massive responsibilities.
It's not a team of rivals, although certainly some of them do fight amongst themselves for Trump's good graces. This is a very different cabinet than his first cabinet. I mean, it's obviously different from other presidents, but his first cabinet, he felt a need. He comes to the White House. He's really never spent any time in Washington. I remember when I interviewed him in Washington in 2014. He had bought that he had gotten that lease, the 99-year lease on the old post office building. He was building the Trump International Hotel. There was a big sign out front saying Trump coming 2016, meaning that the Trump Hotel was coming in 2016.
Right.
And he remarked to me just about how few times he'd actually literally even been in the city of Washington. And it was almost like he was like bringing trophies to his cabinet. He wanted to get people of great stature. Rex Tillerson is hardly what you would expect the profile of a Secretary of State. He was the CEO of ExxonMobil. This guy's a titan. John Kelly and Jim Mattis. These are 4-star Marine generals. These are big, people of consequence. Put him in the cabinet, Homeland Security, the Pentagon. Jeff Sessions was a former federal judge, leading conservative in the Senate. Make him your attorney general. These were people of consequence and credentials. And all those people I just mentioned, Trump feels betrayed him. It's like, what good did it have to have these people if they weren't actually loyal to me? So this time around, he's not caring so much about those credentials. It's truly about the personal loyalty to him.